So with the release of this Snow White remake getting closer and closer by the second, I thought it would be appropriate to take a look back at everyone's favorite train wreck, which is the Critical Drinker. 1 month ago, he released this video called The Snow White Trailer Will Traumatize You for Life, when in fact the only traumatizing things I noticed were how warped this man's sense of self seems at this point. I don't want to spoil this too much, and while he does make very good points throughout the video, man, he is a wrath, I'll tell you.
Honestly, the comments section is pure gold, man.
So I also wanted to take a look at some of these comments because the comment section is usually where any sign of self-control gets lost with the anti-woke crowd. Evil Queen to Mirror described Snow White to me. Mirror. Weird. The only weird thing here is this comment. I honestly don't know what the hell he's trying to say, but I'm gonna assume it's probably the same as every other comment here. Rachel Zegler. Snow White is not gonna be saved by the prince. Good, because I'm here for your stepmother. Well, that is a very harmless comment that also kind of intertwines really well with the anti-woke sentiment of Rachel Zegler apparently not being hot. Yes, I can see that Gal Gadot herself is a very beautiful actress. People just get really wild with it, saying that Rachel Zegler is ugly, and it makes no sense that— Bitch, what the hell are you saying? Have you seen the original Snow White? Snow White be looking creepy as hell, like a fucking human Annabelle over there. Like, what they are even trying to say? Even the original, there was no, like, motive to believe Snow White is prettier than the fucking queen. I mean, of course, that is subjective, but it's not even accurate. Rachel Zegler is still pretty conventionally attractive. I'm willing to believe this is mostly just to kind of be a contrarian because of, you know, Rachel Zegler's political beliefs, and maybe some racism too, but who knows, honestly. Disney relived the classic story. Also, Disney changes the classic story. And that is another fucking argument that to me makes absolutely zero sense. Stories change, man, depending on the fucking context and the climate of the world. Of course it's gonna change. Let's be quite honest here. This is all politically charged. This is all politically motivated. None of these people would be complaining if it didn't have a little bit of their politics in it. None of these people would be watching Snow White regardless. I doubt any of these people actually watched the original Snow White. And we've been joking for a while about the problematic aspects of the original Snow White. People have been making memes for decades about how the prince just straight up shows up at a funeral and be like, "That body? I'm gonna kiss that, I'm gonna hit on that." We've been discussing these topics for ages, and just to assume, oh, it's modern culture, modern audiences, that it's just being a contrarian for being a contrarian. I mean, of course, we're not gonna keep the same fucking story. Women now have more agency, and I bet they wouldn't like to see themselves still acting out as housewives and submissive and only thinking about love and not having any other objectives in life as depicted in movies. I'm pretty sure this wouldn't be a smart choice or an ethical choice. Even the argument "go woke, go broke" doesn't really apply here because that just makes no logistical sense. I mean, who want to see themselves depicted as a useless nobody that is just kind of the center of the plot but doesn't really have any agency?
Anyway, the teaser trailer that came out a couple of months back played it pretty coy when it came to details, probably because Disney was still desperately scrambling to cut together a new version of the film after all the backlash to the project and its, star? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yes, that is the word you're looking for, you bumbling troglodyte. Regardless of your political differences, someone's screen presence and or acting skills should have no relation to those topics. You even come to agree later on in the video that Rachel Zegler is a better actress than Gal Gadot, someone I'd assume you like more than her.
But this was our first real look at Snow White, the evil queen, and the diverse gender non-conforming magical entities that would be starring alongside them.
Just had to include a little bit of that woke bat, didn't we? Look, I agree that casting looked a bit strange for the role they were supposed to play, but at the end of it, we never got to discover the true scope of what the hell the direction was meant to be with this. So maybe shut the fuck up about DEI and whatnot for a fucking second, since it's only the anti-woke crowd bringing this shit up.
It's like someone fed the hyper-exaggerated animated versions from the 1937 movie into an AI image generator and told it to produce photorealistic alternatives with no thought for how disturbing such a visual carbuncle would actually look.
So this is one of the arguments I think most people can get behind. This CGI, it's uncanny. Not only is it uncanny, but in my opinion, completely unnecessary. It just kind of implies the message that people with dwarfism are some kind of mythical creature in the same ballpark as dragons and gremlins, when I'm sure there are many talented actors out there who would love to bring these iconic characters to life. Not really going to get into the whole Peter Dinklage drama, but personally having real actors with dwarfism would have turned out much better than whatever this shit is.
Anyway, let us turn our gaze towards more appealing matters. I walked into that one, didn't I? Nice to see that Andrew Burnap's scenes didn't get cut though. I'm sure Rachel's real happy about that one.
It's Hollywood, baby.
And again with the personal attacks. So what we just saw was a short clip without context from Rachel's red carpet interview that sparked up the rage in the entirety of the anti-woke crowd. Basically, she states the obvious. The original version had some story beats and themes that don't exactly fit with current society, and some changes were made accordingly. They made all of these frustrated bagel munchers paint Zegler as the villain responsible for the destruction of their precious traditional family values, in which they used to rely. She also said some scenes from The Prince could be cut since, you know, that tends to happen, especially to secondary characters. I don't know why every anti-wokey took that as a personal attack against their manhood. Out of all male characters, really fanboying for the prince in Snow White? I don't even remember his name. Just like many Disney movies, he suffers from the flaw of being the romantic interest of the main character, therefore having no real personality. Now, people like the Critical Drinker think it's fair to grossly paint Rachel as some kind of evil, tyrannical feminist that wants all men dead, when it's really just them blowing it way out of proportion. You know, using Zegler as a scapegoat/punching bag for all their pent-up frustrations with modern cinema. And whenever someone personifies an ideology or movement they don't like, I can already tell they have no fulfillment in the real life.
You know, I really don't remember you being this opinionated.
Well, clearly you missed her red carpet interviews then.
I'm sorry. Guys, is having an opinion a bad thing?
The lovely maiden I now behold.
Really? Where?
Again, beauty is subjective. But are you really trying to convince me this girl's ugly? Maybe you should stop getting your drinks from the cabinet by the laundry machine.
You know, one of the things that strikes me after watching Gal Gadot trying to play the evil queen is that portraying a good Disney villain actually demands quite a bit of gravitas and acting range. That's why previous antagonists have been voiced by awesome and experienced actors like Jeremy Irons, Christopher Plummer, Keith David, and Kelsey Grammer.
Notice how all of them are male voice actors. Not suggesting the Critical Drinker is sexist because of this, no, there are plenty of better examples. But why, when referring to actors that portray Disney villains in comparison to Gal Gadot, would you not choose to include, you know, the original voice actress for the Queen? Lucy Loveorn, by the way, very talented actress. Rest in peace for all I know.
And it really brings home the fundamental problem this movie has to overcome. On the one hand, you've got a villain played by an actress who can't act but everyone seems to like. And on the other, you've got a protagonist played by someone who can at least act but almost nobody likes.
It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful.
Don't know why he chose that clip to point out nobody likes Rachel. The romance was by far one of the least interesting parts of the original story anyway. Even though you can clearly see by trailers that this storyline is still present, it just won't be the only motivation for Snow White's character, which I don't know about you, but fleshing out characters is always good in my book.
Let's be real here, ain't nobody gonna be rooting for Rachel Zegler when this movie comes out.
Oh yes, because everyone watching this in theaters is going to be either thinking of Rachel's political stance and beliefs the whole way through, or drooling over Gal Gadot. Yes, definitely. Yes. Very good.
Oh yeah, I guess this'll be the Huntsman then.
Really?
Yeah, sure, okay. Who knew that medieval Germany was quite so cosmopolitan?
How dare this fantasy movie about a girl who goes into a coma by eating a cursed apple from a shape-shifting witch who owns a talking, all-knowing, all-seeing mirror not be historically accurate? Be honest, you just don't want to see this man on screen for whatever reason. Wink wink.
Down to some hard-core girl bossing.
It's time to restore our kingdom.
Guys, is a girl bossing to be a female monarch in medieval times?
Why do I get the feeling it's going to be Snow White who saves Prince Charming this time around?
That is
Not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
First off, cringe. Second, why are you so triggered by the possibility of the main character not being some useless damsel in distress? That's like saying you would rather watch an entire spin-off where Daphne from Scooby-Doo keeps getting kidnapped by a masked ghoul and most of the screen time is focused on her yelling out for help.
It's been said before, but I think it bears repeating that this trailer, and by extension the movie itself, is really the perfect example of everything wrong with modern filmmaking.
Aw, shit. Here we go again.
A creatively bankrupt project founded on the belief that just rehashing old ideas is better than taking the risk of coming up with new ones.
Oh, wait a minute. Perhaps we're getting some more valid criticism. I also believe Disney remakes are unnecessary, and they cannot discourage more creativity from original projects that will bring new life to filmmaking.
A film so oversaturated with eye-bleeding colour and nightmarishly overblown CGI that it's almost a joke to even refer to it as live action, when I'm willing to bet that 90% of it was filmed against green screens.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Actual movie criticism. True, what's the point of making a supposedly live-action remake if most of it's just going to be computer-generated anyway? Like, just make another animation by this point.
A story so warped and twisted from its original form to fit with the filmmaker's own warped and twisted ideas of what the world should be like that it appeals to almost nobody.
And we're back to bringing politics into this. I swear no one would be complaining about changing the story if it wasn't relating to tarnishing their political ideology. For fuck's sake, Disney's version of the Snow White story isn't even the original version. But I don't see anyone complaining. Critical drinker, you're only showing everyone here who really has a warped version of reality and how it should be.
A film starring an entitled, narcissistic, ungrateful brat who thinks the world owes her a favour because of how she was born and just can't shut the fuck up about it.
And how should that be a problem? I mean, most people in Hollywood are incredibly narcissistic, but you won't say anything about them because they feed your political agenda. You don't like her as a person? You do you. But when it comes to reviewing cinema, you know what you're supposed to be doing. All that matters is their skill. Oh, but look at how she won't stop virtue signaling, blah, blah, blah. Get a life. There are worse things in Hollywood than someone sharing their sad origin story.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Same. May we never meet again. Even though we probably will.